Chair and CEO of HDFC is joining us now. Mr. Mistry, thanks much for coming on board. Just want to understand, first up, what are the kind of synergies you're expecting out of the merger? One is an NBFC, one is a bank. What is it that one can expect?
I think there are a lot of synergies. Merger. The first point is that it creates a very large lending platform for rural and semi-urban lending. From Group's standpoint, the synergies that come in will be that Bandhan is a bank and therefore will have access to lower cost of funding than what a Group would have. Secondly, from Bandhan's standpoint, they will get the benefit of the large network of branches that Bandhan has on an all-India basis, and they can showcase and sell the products through these branches. From Bandhan's point of view, they will have access to Group's operating systems in terms of housing loans, which have been time-tested over the last couple of decades and which have proved to be so very successful. They will also have access to Group's network of offices, particularly in the western part of the country, where Group has such a prominent presence. So to my mind, it's a win-win for all the players, whether it be Group, whether it be Bandhan, or whether it be HDFC.
Right. So if you could also just talk about the HDFC Group's focus on affordable housing. HDFC Limited as well as Group put together were the largest as far as affordable housing is concerned. Still, HDFC's focus on affordable housing would continue in a similar manner?
HDFC's focus will, of course, continue in a similar manner. If you look at the data, I'm not going to give you anything which is not in public domain, but if you look at the numbers up to September, then in the first 6 months of this year, 37% of the loans we did in numbers and 18% of the loans that we did in value terms were to borrowers who were in the economically weaker section or in the lower income group. Economically weaker section, the average loan amount was a little over 10 lakhs. And in the lower income group, the average loan amount was about 17 lakhs as compared to an absolute average for HDFC loans of about 26.5 lakhs.
So, would that be a conflict of interest as far as HDFC Group is concerned because of this particular changes and focus on affordable housing?
In fact, on the contrary, if there is any conflict of interest, it goes away. The purpose, first of all, of merging Group into Bandhan was not because of any conflict of interest. Conflict of interest was one of the coincidental benefits that we get that by virtue of merging with Bandhan, Bandhan will then be able to carry on the full platform of affordable housing loans. But HDFC, of course, will continue to do that. The HDFC will continue to focus in the affordable housing segment. It's a huge market. There is a massive trust by the government. The scope for growth is tremendous, and HDFC wants to be an important player in that field.
Right. So what about the stake in Bandhan Bank? Now, you will approximately own about 15% post this entire merger. Would you have to subsequently reduce it down?
No, we don't. We have to apply to RBI. This is all, please understand, this is all subject to all kinds of approvals, whether it be approval from shareholders, whether it be approval from RBI, other regulators, Competition Commission, whatever it be. So it has to go through the whole legal process of approval.
Right. What do you, think the timeline would be before, we could get a substantial answer to this 15% stake or the entire merger getting closed? What's the estimated timeline?
Because it is not in our hands. We will make all the regulatory applications as soon as we have to.
Right. So if we also just look at a lot of brokerages and strategists, they have pointed out that, one thing that it does for HDFC Limited is that if they ever want to monetize this stake, it would be easier to sell Bandhan rather than 56% stake in Group. Would that be something that the board will be considering in the future?
I've already told you that the intention is not to sell any stake. The intention is to now hold shares in Bandhan, but it all depends on what the regulatory approvals we get from RBI are. We will apply for approval to hold up to 15%. It will depend on what kind of approvals we finally end up getting.
Right. So if we look at Bandhan Bank shareholding, it will come down substantially to 61, but they will still need to reduce another 20%. Do you think that is something which you considered when you thought about this merger?
No, that's not that is something you have to talk to Bandhan about. Our concern was primarily the synergy which will arise out of this merger between Bandhan and the Group.
So just over a period of time, what is the sort of synergy that you see? Can you quantify that for us if you have done any maths on that?
I can't quantify synergy, but I just explained to you what the synergies are, which is that Group will benefit from Bandhan's wider network of offices. across the country. GRU will benefit from the fact that Bandhan has access to, being a bank, has access to lower cost funding than what a GRU would have. And Bandhan will benefit from GRU's time-tested systems in doing housing loans, as well as in terms of GRU's presence in West India.
Right, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for taking out time for us, and congratulations on the deal. With that, it's back to you in the studio.
Right. Okay, well, that was the big and exclusive interview that we just had with the Keki Mistry of HDFC Limited, talking about what one can expect out of this big merger, big development that has taken place overnight for Bandhan Bank, GRU Finance, and of course subsequently for HDFC Limited. We'll step into